Hello, and welcome to our next day of learning the laws of loving kindness and chesed. And I really appreciate what we're going to learn today because I actually think it's something that can help us in terms of our relationships with others, and we'll see why. So there's many mitzvos and things that we do in this world that fall short. And there's times that we might, greet somebody, but we're cranky and we're not in the mood and we're not so friendly. And there's lots of things we do that if you wanted to judge us, you can say, well, that person didn't really act in the best of ways. But in the heavenly court, when God is judging us and giving out reward, he judges us many times in a very favorable way. He does chesed, he does kindness when he judges us. He'll make excuses for us, even though they maybe didn't really keep that mitzvah the way they should. I understand that they really wanted to, they were really trying, even though they, maybe didn't keep this other mitzvah. I understand it was very hard for them. And God makes excuses for us, so to speak, and has a certain level of compassion for us. Why? Because he realizes that we're good. Ultimately, we're good. We really want to do good in our hearts, but there's just circumstances in our lives that sometimes come in the way. However, the Chafetz Chaim says this attribute of God, of being able to really judge us in a favorable way, is not applied to everyone. Who is it not applied to? If we were somebody that did not know how to judge others favorably, and we were somebody who was so tit for tat, then God's going to be exactly tit for tat with us. He's going to, in kind, treat us the way that we treated others. So he starts to give examples, right, of different ways that people can be so tit for tat. And, imagine the scenario that, you're in a carpool and someone in the carpool calls you up and they say, I really can't do my day this week. Is it okay if you do my day for me? And you're thinking in your head, I can technically do their day. I am free, but they never step out of their way for me. I don't want to step out of my way for them. Or imagine you have a spouse and they say, you know what? We usually take turns Shabbos afternoon having naps, but this week I really need a longer nap. But the other spouse is counting. Well, you were with the kids for, 2 hours last night and I was with the kids for 3 hours last night. So really I'm owed an hour and your nap cannot be longer because I need my hour back. And so on and so forth. In so many ways we could be so tit for tat. I will give you according to what I think you deserve, and I won't go above myself. And God really looks down upon that, and he says, if you are going to live in a world where everything is so tit for tat, and you only give people according to what you think they deserve, then I'm going to treat you that same way. And when I can go above and beyond for you and give you special things, even though you don't deserve it, and even though you didn't go out, you maybe didn't earn this reward or that, I'm not going to do that for you unless I see that you can do that for others. So really, each person has this opportunity every day to lay down the groundwork for a heavenly defense. If you are somebody who goes out of your way and you're not tit for tat, and you don't just give people to the letter of the law what you think they deserve, then God will do the same for you. It's like the easiest way, or maybe not the easiest because it is hard sometimes, but it's such a sure way to also ensure that you will be dealt with in a kind manner by God, right? And there's just so many examples where people might need you to do a favor and they'll never be able to pay you in return. And, if every time you're able to do things from a more wholesome place and it's not tit for tat, these are acts that will eventually accumulate to really be something of your defense in heaven when you need something, later in, at some point in life, if a family member's sick or somebody they're looking for a shidduch, or they want to, they need money and maybe they don't deserve it. But in the heavenly courts, there's a defense that can come on your behalf and say, listen, maybe they don't deserve it, but how many times did they give things to people who didn't deserve it? And they didn't count every little, well, you gave me this, so I give you this, and you give me this, and I give you this. And it's really a really great way to actually help yourself ultimately. But really, just taking it a bit deeper, relationships can also function so much better when they're not tit for tat. It's true, you might have to pick up the phone and call a friend even though she never calls you. Maybe you're just better at phone calls than she is, and maybe it's best that you go out of the way. Or maybe it's a friend's birthday and she's been having a rough year, and you know that if you would take her out for her birthday, it would do great for her. Oh, but she never takes you out for your birthday. When has she ever paid and taken you out to a beautiful birthday meal? Maybe that's not her strong suit or his strong suit. Maybe that's not the area that they're going to excel in, but they need that from you, and that's something that you can excel in. And even in the terms of a marriage, you know, it's so hard if you're constantly keeping scores. You know, I did this and I did this and I did this, and therefore you should be doing this, this, and this. Life just doesn't work that way. It just can't always be that balanced. Some people have stronger suits than others, and they can do more things more easily. Some people's schedules are more busy, and one spouse might have a little bit of a lighter schedule. Some of them are naturally good at some things, and they're not naturally good at the others. You have to just be able to tap into what someone needs in your life, the people around you, what they need at that moment, and to the best that you can, not make it tit for tat. Because maybe they'll never be able to give it back to you the way you gave it to them, but God can. He sees everything you're doing. And He is so proud of you when you are able to say, you know what, I'm not going to deal with people in such a measured fashion. And then when it comes to you, God's not going to deal with you in such a measured fashion either. He'll be able to say, you know what, I'm going to give this to her. Even though she wasn't so good at it and she didn't necessarily deserve this, I'm going to give it to her. Because that's the type of person she is, and that's what she has standing for her on her side when it comes to the heavenly court. The heavenly court's fighting for you. Let's keep doing good things. Let's keep the world going on. It's our fuel. Being kind, being good to one another practically does a lot for relationships, for the world, for our community, but spiritually it also does a tremendous amount. It's the fuel that keeps the world going. Have a great week.